Imagine having BLM in your profile saying that you believe Black Lives Matter, and then you glorify a man who literally targeted Black and brown queer people.
What is wrong with you guys? What is wrong with you guys?
No, because it's actually gonna bother me in a minute. It's actually beginning to bother me. Some of you might need help. I'll just tell you that for free. Hey, what's up, you guys? Welcome back. I hope you're doing fantastic. I know I am. I just really wanted to talk about this, guys, because it is literally not even funny anymore. I can't go 5 swipes on my For You page without stumbling across this monstrosity of a human being. Like, I'm so tired of seeing his face. Like, and I cannot be the only one. I know I'm not the only one that's thinking this, so let me just hold on a minute. I know that I'm not the only one thinking this. What am I talking about, you're asking? I'm talking about the Jeffrey Dahmer series that has been released on Netflix. Everybody, even if you haven't seen it, even if you haven't necessarily watched it, everybody knows about it by now. As in, everybody... It's come to the point where I have to click not interested every time I see those flipping glasses pop up on my For You page. I'm tired. I don't want to see it anymore. That's just the maddest thing. So I just wanted to come up in here and ask, is everybody all right? Is everybody actually all right at home? The fact that this is trending to the extent that it is questionable in itself. No, is it just me that thinks that? How is this the first time that so many of you guys are finding out about this human being? As in, again, I'm not trying to sound like a, oh my god, look at me. I'm not trying to be obnoxious, but it shouldn't. There's so many issues, in my opinion, that comes about. Industries create films, movies, series based off of real struggle, real pain, based off of people that are still suffering immensely to this day. That's what bothers me. But we'll get into that. For those of you who don't know, I'm gonna spare you the time of even adding a minute to that series on Netflix. Jeffrey Dahmer was a horrific man. Like, there's nothing to romanticize about it, despite what you might be seeing on TikTok. There's nothing to romanticize about it. There's nothing fantasy-like, nothing like that about it. I don't get why or how that's even being hyped up in that way. Psychotic. You guys are crazy. But to save you the drama, to save you the time, Jeffrey Dahmer was a mass serial killer. Like, he killed dozens of Black and brown people, and it was targeted that way. That's not me trying to be like, oh, look at this Black woman talking about he actively targeted Black and brown people. I'm not chatting. Do your research. Google is free. He actively targeted Black and brown people, Black and brown youth, gay men. He did also have victims that were white. I'm not saying that wasn't the case, but the majority of his victims were Black and brown. What I know is that he himself wasn't 100% in terms of his own sexuality. Listen, whatever. Even from a young age, he was into skinning animals, into animal bones, digging up the remains and all of that, just really crazy stuff. Like, he was clearly a very messed up kid, to say the least. And a very important thing that a lot of psychologists are saying about Dahmer's behavior was the fact that he went through a surgery at a young age, and that could have been one of the main reasons as to why he associated so much violence with sexual pleasure. There's a lot of different perspectives and different interpretations of the Jeffrey Dahmer story. Those are different people that have dissected it, that have gone into it and said, this is the reason as to why, this is the reason as to why. But to save you the time, he was just a very effed up individual. Do you get it? He came from a somewhat privileged background because his father was like a professor or a scientist. His dad was smart, but he was neglected as a child. He was just a messed up individual. That's literally that's all you really need to know. That led him to commit absolute atrocities. And people are fantasizing about it. People are making memes about it. People are joking about it like the victims or the victims' families aren't alive and well today. That is so crazy to me. This is why I don't like TikTok. But it's not just TikTok, it's Twitter. Every single social media is to blame at this point. People want to sit here and argue, saying Jeffrey Dahmer documentary, the Jeffrey Dahmer series, it offers so much value in terms of teaching us why these things happen. And I have to agree to some extent. Yes, it shows us systemic racism and police negligence, as the police could have actively done something. I need you to hear that part. I need you to hear that part, because that is the part I have to agree with. The police could have actively done something to maybe even stop the amount of crimes being committed by this individual, or to stop the crimes being committed, period. The police could have done something, but they actively chose not to. Why? Because the cries and calls were coming from black individuals. Why? Because they knew that it was black people going missing. Back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, I mean, racism is still alive and well today, don't get me wrong, but back then specifically, it was an Olympic sport to be a black person, let's just say the least. So the police weren't trying to look for these black people irregardless. You get what I'm saying? It highlights on those areas, I agree. And it's very important for that to be shown, because hell, that is the world that we live in. Let's be real. It's very important to show that is the extent that some cops, many cops, even till this day, whether you want to believe it or not, go to overshadow black lives. They might not necessarily be pulling the gun to the trigger, but they will overshadow and ignore investigations that have to do with black lives. And that's why black people tend to be the highest race that go missing. But that's a story for another day, right? It's important to shed light on these issues. However, and there's a very, very big however, there's a very thin line. When it starts to get to the point where people are now fantasizing about Jeffrey Dahmer because of this series, people are literally calling him attractive. People are making memes out of him because of this series. People are literally joking about the deaths of so many of the victims because of this series, saying that they wouldn't mind being killed by Jeffrey. You guys are sick. You guys are sick. Something's not right with you. Something is not right with you. I don't know what's wrong. You're sick. I don't know what's wrong with you, but get help. I don't know. I don't know if you're trying to hide behind the facade of dark humor, or hide behind the facade of... It's not funny. It's not funny. When the victims' families are literally alive and well, and let me not even get into the fact of how they must be feeling throughout all of this. It must be so traumatic to see the most traumatic thing that could have happened in your life be relived day in, day out by millions of people. And those millions of people are making fun of it. Are making fun of your brother who died unnecessarily to the hands of a mass murderer, an insane person. People are making fun of his death. Imagine. I literally can't. You guys aren't normal. Like, you guys aren't. It only highlights the lack of actual care, of actual giving a toss over black lives. You guys can sit here and say, oh, she's talking about black lives matter. You guys can sit here and like roll your eyes all you want, but that's not gonna stop me from actually saying the truth, something that you guys are clearly afraid to hear. You guys don't care about black people as much as you think you do, because if you did, I don't think you would be joking so easily about this. It's bad enough that this is trending and that everybody's so desensitized to the fact that this mass murderer, this monstrous human being, the fact that this monstrous human being is trending and everybody's so desensitized to his actions, that's bad enough. But the fact that people are now taking it a step further, adding salt to the wound and joking about it, you guys are messed up. Seriously? Oh my god. It rubs me the wrong way completely already. I don't understand as to why it takes the entertainment industry, the film industry, whatever industry, Netflix. Why does it take entertainment in some way for you guys to somewhat acknowledge black lives? or to somewhat acknowledge these atrocities. Because again, Jeffrey Dahmer is not new. Like, this is a story that I grew up reading and I was freaked out about it the second I read it. I'm not saying that I'm not expecting that the movie, the series to not get some hype, but the amount of people actually making noise about it, where was the actual outrage when this happened towards this individual, and where was the love being shown towards the families? I'm not saying none was being shown, but to this extent, I highly doubt it. I highly doubt it. I think it's seriously weird behavior. I think it's serious weird behavior. It should not take any industry that profits, that would be profiting off this, by the way, for you guys to give a damn. Not to mention, you guys who are simping over, I can't even remember the guy who played the guy in the series, but you guys who are simping over the actor.
Oh my god, he played him so well. Oh my god.
Stop it. Get some help.
You guys are just weird. That's all I can say. You guys are just weird. Do you get what I'm saying? If you're finding so much entertainment, if you find this entire situation so, like, beyond the scope of curiosity, beyond the scope of genuine curiosity, if you are enjoying it any more than that, question your morals, babe. Question your morals, please, just for a second, because it's even you. I want to assume in your heads that you have more than 5 brain cells to be able to comprehend that that's kind of strange behavior. A little bit. He was a mass murderer who killed dozens of innocent people. Dozens of innocent people, and the police did nothing. That's the person that everybody's fangirling over right now. Okay.
Imagine having BLM in your profile saying that you believe Black Lives Matter, and then you glorify a man who literally targeted Black and brown queer people. Baby. And I know I'm about to get a whole bunch of white girls going, he was talking about Evan Peters. Evan Peters is who? Not Evan Peters in Coven. Not Evan Peters in any of the other Ryan Murphy shows. No, he said Evan Peters playing Jeffrey Dahmer. Just a heads up to the white people who have no idea, Jeffrey Dahmer literally preyed on Black and brown queer people during the height of the AIDS epidemic because he knew that the police, the city, white people like this guy would not care about the lives lost.
The world is going potty crazy, and I'm not here for it, to be honest. But yes, thanks for watching, guys. If you did like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Head over to my TikTok, which is where I found the majority of this information anyway. Literally, it has been clogging up my For You page. I haven't been able to escape it, to be honest with you. Like, I'm just so sick of everybody. I'm sick of everybody just fantasizing about it. It's not something to be fantasized about. It's not a good event. It was not a good event in human history. But yes, follow me on my Instagram as well. And since you're here, you might as well subscribe, guys. Come on, like, my name is literally the same on all 3 platforms. Thanks for watching, guys, and I shall see y'all later.